Hey, welcome back to the CCW Safe podcast. I'm Mike Darter with in Oklahoma City.
Stan Campbell. About three. No, we're only a foot apart.
Yeah, we should probably
We know each other.
social
We've known each other
distance
for a
more.
long time, so it's
Yeah.
okay for us.
Whatever you got. What I got's gonna kill whatever you got.
You
so.
ain't lying about that.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone is safe and their families are safe. I'm Stan Campbell. It's Mike Darter, CCW Safe Podcast.
Yeah, so we're just gonna talk today about just kind of random stuff.
Yeah, what's going on in the world?
It's pretty crazy.
Pretty bizarre.
It's really
What's
bizarre.
happening?
We were talking earlier about, so you remember the football games that had the little guys that you put on and you line them all up, then you turn on and and they run down. So we're talking about that's like what we expect to see on ESPN soon. And then Justin actually said there's actually a deal, right? Is that a real deal?
There's a league, like they have playoffs and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
I forget
Of
what
those
they call
games.
It. Yeah. It's there's like guys make their own little men and their
really?
own little pieces, and it's like there's strategy to it. And
Wow. Kind of like the
pretty
boxcar racer type
Yeah,
deal. They
it's-
make their own. That's crazy.
it's pretty
Well,
crazy.
I mean, I could see it. I turned on the other night and there was like, they're playing 1986 games of
Yeah.
NBA, which is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, sport has been shut down. Most major events have been shut down. The Tulsa Gun Show got canceled.
Yeah, the Wanamaker.
Yeah. that's
Schools,
huge.
colleges,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, everything. I mean,
the strip, shut
Yeah.
down the strip for a month.
That's correct. The governor
crazy.
of Nevada came in and said he's shutting down Las Vegas.
I think the real reason was
30
because your
days.
birthday was coming up, and they're
Yeah.
like, that guy.
Yeah,
We can't have that guy in here.
they really did mess up my birthday party, and that's 30 days away.
Yeah,
But to be safe, we have to kind of shut it down. I got to cancel it. So
Yeah, it's crazy. So we've gone to, here at CCW Safe, we've kind of gone to a work at home environment. We can work from anywhere. It's kind of the beauty about our company. We're very light. We can work from anywhere. The majority of what we do is online. We were talking earlier about Amazon even shutting down certain things. These little things that you order that you got to have.
yeah.
I mean,
they'll never come now.
yeah.
They stopped taking shipments from Amazon sellers to their warehouses temporarily until this kind of blows over. Right now, they're using all their capacity to ship out what they consider, I forget what the word they used
Yeah, I
in the
forgot
letter.
what word it was. But
Basically, like
essentials
so like if you're selling placemats or something like that, and you're shipping a pallet of them to Amazon, and they're fulfilling it. Right now, all that kind of stuff is on hold.
yeah.
Until whatever.
So no placemats.
I saw something today where Amazon's looking to hire 100,000 people.
That's right.
Like now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's good. That's one thing we were talking about. A lot of these companies are here in Oklahoma City. You can't go out to eat. You have to get takeout only. A lot of the bars, restaurants shutting down. Malls, they're not shut down, but probably 2/3 of the stores or more are shut down within the malls. And it is a good time. I've had this deal. My 16-year-old daughter having to explain to her how important it is to go with what the recommendations are. You can't be out. You can't be out at malls or with large groups of people you don't know. You really have to kind of just shelter in place, and which is kind of going to get to what we're talking about today, because it really gets to the fundamental basics. What I've seen with food, water, and shelter and security.
That's right.
And, it really, something like this, it happens so fast here as far as just, okay, I think more travel is going to be limited. I think we're going to see a lot of small businesses have a real hard time recovering for this. If they do, people are going to be without work, and it brings you to that fundamental, do you have food, shelter, and security?
That's right.
And all this, we've seen the guns, the ammo shortages, gun shortages. In fact, Justin can kind of talk some about that because he's so,
He's tapped in.
He's tapped in with that. So.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to this since. I mean, we had a text chain about this virus going back in November when it was going on in China, and so I've kind of had my eye on it. But basically, bulk 223, bulk 9mm disappeared within 48 hours from the internet. I mean, and most people I know, Bass Pro, Cabela's, stuff like that, all the reports I'm seeing in forums is they're wiped out as well.
Yeah.
Larry Vickers mentioned that one of the distributors he works with, guy there had told him that on Monday they wrote more invoices than they've ever written in their company's history in a single day.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He said they were completely wiped out of double stack 9mm and ARs.
And that's something big compared to, back when.
Well, I remember Sandy Hook. Like Sandy Hook was, that was a paradigm changer. Like that freaked people out. And I mean, it took a year to recover from that.
Right.
And 22 long rifle ammo took longer than that. But what happened was when it did recover, there's a giant trough that we've been in for the last 3-4 years.
Yes.
That's why you can buy an AR now for $400. And it killed a lot of companies. A lot of companies got broke, went bankrupt, got bought. It changed the industry. I think we're going to see that again. I think we're going to see a lower dip than where we were before. And I think, prices were really, honestly, if you talk to people in the industry, on an AR, you really can't get much lower than that, than what like PSA and some of the other.
Yeah,
companies are selling
$400.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a shakeout in the industry that way. As far as when this is all over, I think we're going to see a lot of companies go away, smaller companies, niche companies, stuff like that. But yeah, right now, if you're looking for ammo, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's real tough.
Yeah, and I know, Justin, you're new to Oklahoma. The one thing about this community here, they're really, really accustomed to emergencies and actually stacking food, water, and having, being prepared for tornadoes, because this is tornado season. For a lot of us to shelter in place, it's really natural for us to do that. For you, it's just a little bit different because, out in Vegas, you never had to think about something like that.
Yeah, there's no natural disasters. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, so we had tornadoes and snowstorms, and I've been locked in a house in Kentucky for an ice storm for 9 days. And so I have an idea of what it's like. But, a friend of mine we were joking. He said, well, now the rest of the world gets to see what it's like to live in Florida.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because, they do this every year for a hurricane, some part of the state. So, and it could get a lot worse. That was another thing. I'm seeing this. I think they're laying the groundwork. I've seen letters coming out from DHS and from other places that are basically travel passes.
Yeah.
And looking into it farther, this is kind of a standard deal for emergency management situations.
Correct.
To allow people to move within checkpoints and stuff. Like, you've got linemen or, people that are repairing critical infrastructure or hauling fuel or stuff like that. But that system has been activated all over the United States from what I'm seeing. Some people claim that it's because there's a national lockdown coming. Just today, Trump came out specifically and said that's not true. There was an article in one of the major papers where they were saying that it was actually a state actor that was sowing false information to try to cause panic.
Yeah.
And like we've gotten some of these text messages.
We have. Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
received
Where it's like, hey, a buddy of mine is saying this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Trump administration is saying that is actually an action by an outside state trying to sow misinformation.
And you really got to be careful with misinformation. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say what you were saying, even though we are in a state that we dealt with this, it's insane. I mean, you go to any grocery store, toilet paper's gone everywhere. Most of the aisles are down so far. I mean, it's just really crazy, and people have to have that control. They go to Costco because they can get the big cart, and they get the big deals of toilet paper just to have the control of that, and it's a panic, and I think it's I think it's something that is. I think there's a balance to everything,
Absolutely.
and it seems like we've gone so far past that.
Yeah.
Well, I think like guns right now, like it
Turn your
ain't gun.
Dylan.
What's that?
Turn your Dylan.
It's not gun guys that are
Oh, it's
buying
on.
out the ammo and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's not gun guys running out and buying $500 ARs.
No.
It's non-gun owners
Yeah.
Yep.
who have gotten scared
Yeah.
and said, man, I need a gun. Usually the fear is from it being banned through political means.
Correct.
Now they're scared, of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be.
Well, we
It's
got the
crazy.
first-hand reports from New York about, the selling so many 70 rifles in one day,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they had to bring in translators because a lot of them were Chinese or Asian. It's just, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is that getting back to the basics of security. I mean, you are the one who is in charge of your safety, period. And it's not just now during this time. It's really during all times. I mean, I've had to, we've talked about having, when my alarm went off at that new house and got in, and it took 20 minutes for law enforcement to get there. You're on your own, even in the best of times, economic times, everything. But something like this really brings out how important firearms are to our society, and the history of our country was built on that.
Yeah.
And you're seeing now, like Justin, you're talking about like non-gun people, and I think there's a lot of people out there who probably, and I know there's both sides. I know there's a lot of people out there who are for gun control that have a firearm in their home. I know there's people out there who are strongly against it that don't have a firearm at all. But I think there's a lot of people who, if they were put into a situation or put into a, scenario, that they would, if they had a gun, they would use it, or they'd like to have a firearm. And we're seeing that now
Yeah.
with all these,
runs.
runs.
We talk all the time. Anyone that follows us knows that we're really sensible. We give common sense tips and suggestions for those who follow us and for our members. And we talk, and back when we were just doing the audio podcast, we always say stuff like we're not paranoid, we're prepared. And being prepared actually keeps you away from that other P, which is panic. And like even when Mike said, because there is some fake news floating around, and this is really the first pandemic and true emergency that has been shared sometimes haphazardly across the internet. And the internet is pushing this, and you never know what's true and what's not. But when we started seeing these things, I started making my phone calls to my family. I got my adult kids and my mom in Texas. I have my other family in California and New Jersey. And I started letting them know. I said, hey, guys, I'm getting this from some pretty good sources now. This is not just, internet noise. Go get about 2 weeks worth of food and water and such. And just get it before everybody else starts making a run on things. And that's kind of what happened soon thereafter. You don't want to have to worry about that. And like Mike said, people here and in other places that, think about these things, they stay prepared. They keep their canned goods, they keep bottled water. They stack it. And, we've had some feedbacks that we put these tips out, I think it was on Monday, right, Justin?
Yep.
On Monday, and really what it is, because one guy responded, "It's not the zombie apocalypse. Calm down." And I'm like, okay. I said,
Closest thing we've ever seen to it.
that's right. I said,
Yeah.
that's not what we're saying here, because we don't sell fear. We try to prepare our folks for different things. Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to bring up to touch on what Mike was talking about. Like right now in Las Vegas, Las Vegas Metro PD, no longer responding to property crimes.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've seen I don't.
That's going to happen across the nation.
I was going to say, I bet
Might have
that's
been.
happening
It
more
was
places.
either New York or L.A., but I've seen another major department. It's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
And basically, unless the crime is in progress,
Yeah.
they're not responding. If it's a burglary, if it's a break-in, if somebody breaks into your car,
Yeah.
if somebody assaults you and then runs away, they're not coming.
Yeah.
They'll take the report over the phone, but this isn't a hoax. This isn't internet fake stuff.
Yeah.
This is coming from cops
That's right.
that work in these areas.
Yeah.
And the one department I saw actually put out a press release about it. And it's sobering, man.
Oh, it really is.
I mean, it's so when they say nobody's coming, nobody's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we still can get medical, ambulances and stuff like that, EMS, as far as I can tell. I think fire departments are cutting down on some of their medical runs if it's a non-emergency run.
Yeah.
So, like you're saying, man, it's time to be calm, but be vigilant. And the biggest thing is being calm.
Yeah,
like if
absolutely.
you're calm,
Yeah.
like you talk about, Stan, all the time. When you talk about interactions with people at gas stations or something like that.
Right.
If you keep your calm,
Yes.
then that changes everything.
No, it
You're
really
in
does.
control.
Yes.
If you're calm, you're in control.
Absolutely.
So, and right now, that's a big thing that everybody needs to.
Well,
keep
I
in
like when
mind.
Stan was talking about being prepared ends that panic too. And the one thing, being prepared doesn't, if it's gotten to this point and you're thinking preparedness, you're too late.
Absolutely.
So that's why you have to kind of constantly be thinking of that. I mean, just little things. You put some tips out, but I mean, always keeping your gas tank full, tires, checking your tires often, making sure they're up. I mean, just little things like that most people don't even think about.
Yeah.
You mentioned keeping gas in your car too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
You-
I mean,
you got to think about that.
and that's not during this time. That's all
the time. Yeah.
I mean, you just never know. You just want to be prepared at all times. And
Right.
with firearms, I mean, ammo right now, same thing. If you get to this point, it's like, oh wow, I don't have any 9mm ammo. I've got 4 9mm guns, 5 or whatever, but I don't have any ammo. It's kind of too late now.
Yeah.
So being prepared, and it's work, and it's constant work, but it's just something that, we've talked about with situational awareness, with practice, and using that often. We talk about with law enforcement, a lot of law enforcement officers have great situational awareness, and they trust their situational awareness because they have experience in results from them trusting their situational awareness. Most people don't. So they don't want to bother somebody, don't want to offend somebody or this or that, so they don't have that trust in their situational awareness. But by practicing that, it's easy to get to a point to where you can always have that up, and you can know what's going around with your personal safety, I love Pat McNamara, how he talks about
he's
his
awesome.
own personal protection detail.
Yeah.
He has a lot of things, his videos on, doing dude stuff or dude things or whatever,
Yeah.
basic dude stuff.
basic
Yeah.
dude stuff. I mean,
Yeah, but on Sundays he actually puts out the stuff with the concealed carriers and
Yeah.
and really protecting yourself. So you guys need to watch him.
yeah,
There's a lot of great stuff out there.
there's a lot of great stuff, and he does this year round, and this is where all this practice comes into play when you get into a situation like this. I'm hopeful that in the next 2 to 4 weeks we're going to see some changes and for the good. But everybody's saying we just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
One thing I'd like to bring up, we were talking about, being prepared, being calm. This is an unprecedented situation. I've never seen anything like it in my life, as far as I know. As far as I know, the strip's never been shut down since it's been a thing.
that's crazy.
I mean, and you're talking about an economic center like that on top of everything else. But one thing I think is very important for everyone to do is just be civil.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have patience. Like I'm seeing a lot of, especially online, you're seeing it, but like even in person, in stores and stuff. People, everybody's freaked out. Everybody's a little scared.
Yeah.
But if people would just take that extra minute and frankly, not to be an asshole, like just take a breath, and sit and just either walk away or just calm down and be civil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is another time where you absolutely don't want to be someone that escalates a situation.
Right.
Over toilet tissue.
Yeah.
And people have been on the internet fighting over this stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys got to remember. There's certain things, there's tricks that you can do, like take a roll of paper towels, cut them in half. Now you got toilet paper. So you got to think of all these different things. You still want to keep candles on hand, flashlights, different things like that.
Batteries are big.
Batteries are really big. Baby wipes, get those.
Oh my gosh! So that's my big deal. Yeah, that's my big deal because I travel. So I travel doing photography quite a few places, and I always have wipes because
That's right.
you get one small cut, not a big deal, but that thing gets infected, and then you get, it can be a pain in the ass. So it's that's my big. I always have wipes in my truck, in my photo bags, at home. Yeah.
Yeah, and then wear the proper mask as well when you start doing that, especially for travel. I know some of the travels have been shut down. International travels is a problem now. Domestic travel hasn't been shut down yet, but if you do have to travel, wear the proper mask. Look at what they wear in the hospitals, not the little.
Well, that's the problem now is you can't get them. They're gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
N95.
That comes back to, and we're talking about the
95
3Ms.
masks are gone.
Yeah, we're talking about those.
Yeah.
So when this is over, take this as a lesson. My kids. I call down. They're adults, but I call down and I'm like, okay, give me your inventory. Tell me what you have. And and then they tell me, of course, the millennial menu. And so I give them some suggestions. Say, hey, this, double up on this, get that. Get the essentials, get the canned foods. Make sure you have all the things that you need, stuff that can last a long time. Although we're anticipating just 30 days, you need to be ready for 60.
Yeah, and they're saying 3 months. I mean,
They
3 months is a long time.
They cannot shut the economy down for 3 months.
No, I'm talking. Yeah, I'm talking about having food and having everything on hand. I mean, that's a lot. When you talk about 78% of Americans work paycheck to paycheck, live paycheck to paycheck, and the average is around $400 in savings. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be hard for a lot of people. And now with I know a lot of people. Personally, I've talked to people. I talked to someone today who they haven't lost their job, but they're closed down for a couple of weeks, and they don't really have a plan as far as the work. So they're luckily they had sick time that they were able to use, but a lot of these people don't. So it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, many times it's not career, and I know you back before we did our specialized teams. We were regular 911 patrol officers, and we would get the larceny calls, the calls from the shopping centers where somebody be stealing meat and Pampers and stuff. And then you talk to them. I mean, the person's just having a bad time in life, lost his job, whatever the case may be, not just stealing stuff to be stealing stuff, but stealing stuff to survive. Yeah. And these are the things that, like in my short tips article, I talk about opportunists and, people that are really, people without jobs. How long does it take for a person to be without that has children before they get a little desperate? And that's when it becomes the scare of someone either taking advantage of you with an open door, possibly entering your home and taking what you have, not trying to harm you, but to actually just get stuff that they can't get themselves. So you got to be mindful of that.
One of the things that exactly what you're saying, that how long does it take? And it again, I don't want to go into the realm of fear-mongering or anything like that. But if you just look around the world, things have really not gotten crazy in Italy. Things have really not gotten crazy in Spain or really anywhere. We don't see people, attacking other people to steal their food or their toilet paper.
Correct.
So I think to me, that gives me hope that we got a cushion there. Like we should be okay for a little while. But I do believe there is that point you talk about. And it's to the point where very few people in this country really know. I don't know what it's like to be hungry.
Yeah.
Like legit hungry.
Yeah.
Never known it in my life.
Yeah.
Most people my age or younger, I would wager, are the same way.
Correct.
Right.
So if that ever does become a thing, then the paradigm, I think, will shift. I hope we never see that. I don't think we will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it goes back to being prepared. Like you
Exactly.
talked
And then once again, we absolutely do not push fear out there. That's not our style. That's the others. We don't do that. But we do talk about, things like, because anytime this stuff happens, we're not talking it's going to be just a rash of home invasions and stuff like that. But you just always need to be prepared for, stuff like that and to protect your home. And, like even when you go to the ATM and stuff like that, be mindful of, going to one where there's, it's well lit. It's in the middle of the parking lot. Those are great. You don't want to, go to ones on the side. There's bushes next to it when you get your money out, and because like I said, people are losing their jobs. So, taking advantage of somebody real quick, with a.
Well, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see home invasions rise. I think we're going to see burglaries and property crimes really rise, because eventually the people who do those things are going to figure out cops don't care. They're not coming.
Yeah, and it's not that they don't care; they just can't.
Well, I mean, they have other stuff they're doing.
So
on a priority list, nobody cares if somebody breaks in your car.
Absolutely.
When we're under, what's going on right now is going on.
Yeah, no, and trust me, like we have all been there.
And
it kind of depends. It hasn't been something like this, but a pandemic. But there's been things in which we shut down. Working accidents. Like when the bombing. That was an extreme. When the bombing occurred, thank God we have some really good citizens here.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have a rash, but we had to be concerned about, people going into the folks' houses in the zone that they should not be in. The large tornadoes is the same thing. When it hits and devastates an area, we actually set up security to keep people out of there, because we don't want them to come in and just take advantage of the situation, because it does happen. There's people that, they take advantage of the opportunity and the vulnerable.
Well, and it goes back to being not only prepared but aware.
Yes.
If the other thing too is the type of people that just straight criminals, they want soft targets.
Yes.
They don't want people that are aware of what's going on. They don't want people that see them coming from 20 yards away and follow them.
Right.
They want the guy with his head in his phone.
That's right.
That's a sheep.
Yes.
So don't be that guy.
Exactly.
Be aware.
Yeah.
That'll stop a lot of it.
Oh, absolutely. And then a lot of cops, because when Mike talked about, when he trained his daughters, although, even cop kids and cops really are the worst about training their own people, their family, because the family gets, really secure in that nobody's coming in while daddy's home. Daddy's not always home. And, and we also have things like, safe rooms and stuff like my last home that I built, back in the early 2000s was built around a safe room. My safe room was built into the foundation, to withstand a F4 tornado hit. But it was also a panic room as well. So, I taught my kids to go there if there was a break-in and lock themselves in. And I actually had a hard line, old school telephone that was set up in there as well, just in case they cut the lines. Yeah. So, not paranoid, but prepared. And, it's really important. And once we come out of this, everybody really has to take a deep look at themselves and figure out, okay, what do I need to do to prepare for the next one? Because this is not the first one. We've had these before.
Right.
This is just a little
different.
It's not
going to be the last.
It's just a little bit. It's not going to be the last.
If you look at the history of pandemics, they come in waves.
Yeah.
A lot of smart people are saying we're going to see this in the fall. Maybe not to this extent.
Yeah.
But it could also be localized. So, I think until there's a cure for this, a vaccine, we're going to see it again.
Yeah.
I think.
And if you feel unprepared at this time or overwhelmed, use this as a guide for the future. Make sure you always have on hand some of the things. Stan, talk about what you did an article this week on just things to remember, things to do.
Yeah. So to start off with, we talked about the food, water, and supplies. whatever you and your family might need for, to sustain, a 15 to 30 day without going to the store. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now if that means, stacking things up, just stack them up. That's kind of what I have my family doing. But other than that, we already know we discussed keeping yourselves clean, limiting your time in stores and with people at this time with the pandemic. But when you think about things at the home, take an inventory or look at, the security of your house. See if
Yeah.
there's something extra you need to put on your back doors. Make sure that all your windows are locked and stuff like that. The lights around the house are good for nighttime. Make sure that you sit down with your family because this is the
Mm-hmm.
time. There's a lot of homeschooling going on right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the time where this pandemic, the one good thing that came out of it is forcing us as parents to really engage with our kids,
Mm-hmm.
have meals with them, teach them. They're not in school anymore, so you have to stand in as the teacher. So it's going back to old school where we actually took care of our own. And in doing that, you also have to prepare them for any emergencies. And that's not only to talk about what to do when there is a home invasion, but also if there's a medical emergency. I
Mm-hmm.
talked about having medical bags.
Yeah.
So prepare some duffel bags, some makeshift medical bags. If you got tourniquets and stuff, put them in there. But have it at a rally point where that last room where you want to defend. That's where everybody needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
And in that room, have like a cell phone that's always charged. Different things like that. All of the stuff that you need, the flashlights and a secondary exit. I always talk about this. Be you in a restaurant or at home, where your rally point is, have a place of escape too. If you get overrun, not to say this, not talking about zombies, we're talking about burglars.
Yeah.
But if you get overrun, think about a place for them to go and escape. And then I would have rally point number two. If you leave the home, where are they going?
Yeah.
So have a place where they're going to go. These are all the things that you need to do to kind of prepare and get ready. If you have a child that practice with weapons, then make sure that's the weapon that's in your rally point as well, so that they can help to take care of business if they have to.
And one of the things I wanted to say too is when you're talking about food and stuff, I travel quite a bit with the photo tours and been to some other countries, and you really don't for a short amount of time you can survive easily on the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can survive on two bottles of water a day with the minimal food. So I know it's especially here in America, it's like, oh God, I haven't eaten in 45 minutes. What am I going to do? Or I don't have
That's
this
for real.
massive pantry over here with all this food. And, just knowing what your limits are, what your limits can be, without even necessarily pushing the limits, just knowing what it really takes for survival. Justin was talking about, I've never been starving. I've been hungry, but I haven't felt like I've been starved for, longer than 2 days or so. I mean, but you can push those limits, or you have limits that you don't have to have what you think you have to have. So that's just another point of, really realizing, and especially for children, and helping them understand what they need for their nutrition, for their daily nutrition, especially if it's going to be a week process, or something.
One thing that I've found, most of the people, I was raised by my grandparents. They were born. They went through the Great Depression, World War II. They were from rural southeastern Kentucky, and canning, keeping a garden, keeping candles and batteries and stuff like that. We lived in the Midwest, so we had tornadoes. They call it prepping now. To them, that was just the lifestyle.
Yeah.
That was just what you did because they knew they knew what happened when things happen in the world and you're stuck. But now it's gotten to the point where prepping is almost kind of a lifestyle in certain parts of the country and in a lot of parts of the country in the South, Florida, Texas, places that are prone to natural disasters,
Mm-hmm.
people have over the years known to keep enough stuff on hand to take care of themselves for a week or
Mm-hmm.
14 days, whatever. But addressing what you said, Mike, was, you don't need a year's worth of food and
Right.
dried beans and rice and stuff that, my favorite is you see somebody and they've got 40 pounds of rice, they got 20 pounds of beans, and they don't have any fuel to cook it with.
Yeah.
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 It's like, rearrange it. And the best thing I've seen, recommendation, what I do is just buy a little bit more of what you use every week.
Absolutely.
Right. Right.
And just rotate it through.
Yes.
And you don't got to go out and spend $2,000. And you can even start now. There's still food in stores.
Oh, absolutely.
So, if you like spaghetti, buy an extra box.
Yeah.
Stick it on a shelf. Buy an extra jar of sauce. And just do that every time. And then in 3 or 4 months, you look and you go, hey, I got a month's worth of spaghetti and sauce.
Yeah.
And then you just rotate through it.
I saw the other day, some guy he came out like 5 gallons of milk. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
how are you going to drink 5 gallons of milk in the next week?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you have 10 kids. I don't know. But the toilet paper, same thing. I mean, when you break it down, I saw a breakdown of this, and it's like with the toilet paper people are getting, they'd have to wipe their ass 174 times a day.
Right.
And that's a family of 6.
To me,
You know,
what it
so-
is? Toilet paper and 9mm right now are the same thing. They're talismans.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're talismans.
Yeah.
If I have this, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it. I'll never use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll be okay.
And that's
if I
same
got
thing
it.
with medical. A lot of the medical stuff. I got my
I got a tourniquet.
I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
And it's when that happens and you have to Google how to use a tourniquet, that's not the good time to find out how to use a tourniquet.
Yeah, and just piggyback what Mike's saying, I mean that's a good point where, you have your kids at home now, they're being homeschooled for the next couple of weeks. YouTube, you can really learn a lot on there.
Yeah.
Sit down and then go through some medical things about how to stop blood, how to apply a tourniquet. Don't practice applying one, but just make sure that they're aware of how to do it. Because all that stuff is good. This is the time when you really get to, teach your kids what you want them to learn. Mm-hmm. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be on a podcast actually Friday on. It's like a dad podcast. Got contacted on it, and I was thinking about some of the things we're going to talk about on that. And I've got 3 girls. I didn't raise any victims.
Amen.
As you're growing up, as you're raising your kids. I mean, and this is almost can be like a gift these times like this to be able to, because think about how many times when do you get to really sit down with your kids anymore and just talk about things, about current events, about how to do different things, about how to fix things. We don't have that opportunity. So, and I think what Justin was talking about, it's almost the filter in which you look at all these things. I mean, I see this, in a way, I see part of it as a gift.
That's right.
That you have now. You have the undivided attention of your kids that you can share with things, play games, show them how to do things.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a lot of the filter how you look about. And when Justin was talking about the 9mm ammo and the toilet paper is the same exact thing. It's what you focus on. And, we're all in this together. He brought up a great point of being civil. You have neighbors. They're in the same position you are. We're all in the same position. And I went to the store. I actually went to the store yesterday because I didn't get any toilet paper. Recently moved into a new house. And then I came home from when I came home from Mexico. Aubrey had left the freezer door open,
Yeah.
so I lost probably $1,200 of food last weekend. Not a great time
Before
to
it got
lose
bad.
right before it got bad.
Yeah.
So I've recovered some and. But I went in the other day and I just happened to go into CVS or I think it's CVS, popped in to get something and they had a row of toilet paper there, and I grabbed one little deal and took it.
Yeah.
There were still some on the shelves. We're all in this together. You have to think about, you have to think about you and your family, but you do also have to think about those around you in your neighborhood, because we're all in this together and got to get through it.
Yeah, and then think about your elders as well. Not only checking on them medically. Make sure they have all the things that they need. Mama Mona. She don't play no games. Before this
does
became
not.
a thing, because my mom she watches the national international news. And
yeah. That was
she
great.
was telling us, we just got back from. She's like, make sure you get your peanut butter.
Peanut butter,
And we're
peanut
like,
butter,
Mama, come
peanut
on,
butter,
it's not gonna
jelly.
be
You
that
gotta have that
bad.
protein.
And she gotta have that protein, and she's getting all this peanut butter and stuff, getting ready. And we making fun of her, but it's like
Smart lady.
Oh, I know. Pay attention to them. Pay attention because they're gonna tell you right. Because she was watching it, and she's watching it come over, and we were like in the middle of just business, and we weren't paying attention. But it's still easier for us to get prepared because we kind of know what to do, and we also kind of get some heads up from law enforcement and military friends when something's really going down. And but share that information with your friends. Check on those. Thank God everyone is kind of connected through social media now. But you can check on people and just do a family page and say where's everybody at. Does anybody need anything? Because there's people losing their jobs and such. So watch out for your entire family.
And one good thing, so I'm part of actually Stan's part of Vistage too. Part of a Vistage group, which is a great group. If you own your own company, you should look for something, a Vistage or something like it. And it's a peer support group for CEO level or CEOs to run their companies. You have to sign in a NDA. You have to actually get accepted. It costs for companies to be a part of this, but the George has set up now every morning at 7 a.m. a call for all of his people for his different groups, and they can talk about different things. We're really lucky with the company that we have that we're not going to see the problems that a lot of these other companies that provide services direct
products.
or products are seeing. And that's kind of cool to see him set up that everyday call.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that with whether it's in WhatsApp or text or group call. So that's kind of something to think about if you have family members spread out around the country that you can talk about different things, or groups of business leaders or whatever that can kind of work together during this time.
And don't forget to take advantage of your technology. You got the Crime in Place app. That's very important now. You want to avoid these areas where there's high crime, so it'll show you your hot pockets of a high crime area, so you don't want to go to those particular Walmarts and such. You have the Life 360 app.
That's a great app.
Download for your family so you can keep track of them, and the kind of GPSs everyone so you know where all your family is just in case there is a true emergency. Where they're located. Just do different things like that. I mean, I don't think that we don't anticipate like electricity going out, the phone system's going down. But, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get, little two-way radios and stuff for your family. Just different things like that just to think ahead for the next major, probably a weather, situation. But just think about all these things you need to do and just to be prepared more than anything. And don't be scared.
And also educate others on my big deal of what I wanted to talk about today was the firearm stuff. I mean, educate others of what's going on now. And this is when you get to the basics, that security is one of the basic fundamental, fundamental things that everybody has to have. It's like food, water, shelter, and safety. And, educate those people, because there's still a lot of people out here. We don't need, nobody needs this. Well, nobody needs it until you need it.
That's right.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to bring up was, and it kind of touches on what you guys were talking about regarding technology, maintaining your network, communication, stuff like that. I see it a lot. Certain people, certain types, whatever, they get really wound up with what they see online. And they take a lot of things at face value, or if it feeds whatever, confirmation bias, if they have a certain view on something and it feeds that, then they really buy into it. I think it's important, especially in times like this, to turn it off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I find myself doing it.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, especially the last couple weeks, it's like people. I spend a lot of time online. You can learn a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information out there, and then if you filter it correctly, you
Yeah.
can gain a lot from it.
Correct.
It's also easy to get caught up in it, and that'll make your life harder.
Yeah.
And you see it, kids especially, they get really freaked out and scared about stuff. Just everybody, not just kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think it's important to be able to just turn it off, man.
Yeah.
Just like go do something else, go walk your dog, go talk to your kids, go in the garage, do something. But like, because I see a lot of people in this situation, because I go the same places every day, you see them getting more and more and more stressed out and more stressed out and more scared. And it's,
Yeah. You
sometimes you
pull
got to
yourself-
turn it off.
Yeah. You pull
Definitely.
yourself into a downward spiral.
Yeah.
Of anxiety and even depression.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Just by continuing to look at it day in, day out. I mean, I tell Mama Mona to be mindful. I'm like, 'cause she's always on it. But I was like, hey, give it a break. Go watch a comedy.
Yeah.
Because you can't take in too much of it.
And at the end of the day, outside of what you can control within
Yeah.
24
Yeah.
inches in front of you,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it.
Right. Right.
So,
And then and kudos too to all those who are out there, helping out the masses, because there are some people stepping up. A lot of people with money are like really, helping out the communities. I mean, it's shameful that us as a whole, the majority, has to wait for celebrities to be inflicted with something before they actually think that something's real. Like Tom Hanks and some of the other celebrities. Kevin Durant. Just recently. And, no one thinks this stuff is real until they see some of the people that they idolize, tell them to wash your hands and that I've got it and I'm locking in place. Like, this is a serious thing now. So, guys, just really, really be careful out there and take care of each other.
Yep. All right.
got anything else you want to wrap up with?
Yeah. Key takeaways. I think we've pretty much gone through them all.
Yeah, we
each,
really have. But key takeaways, I always like lean on Mike sometimes. And, just, like really think about this as a time to make this the dry run, although it's very dangerous and a lot of death is occurring here. But make this the dry run on how you're going to start, leading your life and preparing yourself for things like this, so think about those things and get yourself prepared.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I also like what Justin just said of stepping back from the panic and turning things off. Because when you, at the end of the day, you see, like he just said, what you have in control over is right with you. There, a lot of this stuff you don't have control over, and turn it off and just try to change your focus on what you're seeing, what you're doing, and what you need to pay attention to.
Justin, what's yours?
My big thing, man, what I started with, be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
good
it's
point. Great point.
Roadhouse rules, man.
Yeah.
Be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Exactly.
I like that.
This is like I always say. I say, be a teddy bear until it's time to get grizzly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you really have to do
it changes. It'll make someone else's day better, and it'll make your day better. It sounds cheesy. It sounds corny, but it's true. Like, I mean, and you don't even have to be nice. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Just don't be that guy. If something is getting you, but it really doesn't matter, just go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because 30 seconds later, you'll forget about it.
That's
It's
right.
over.
Yeah.
Or you hang on to it, you start something, and now your whole day's
And
shot.
then you're pissed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've told my daughter that before. Don't let anybody ruin your day, or don't let anybody decide how your day is going to be. Just let it go. Doesn't matter if they drive by you yelling, flipping you off, whatever. Yeah, great point.
Yeah. Hey, so guys, make sure that you share this podcast link with your friends and families, your loved ones. For those that are new to carrying and is following us, if you don't have a concealed carry permit, we have a home defense plan as well. So check that out. visit ccwsafe.com, and share with your people that, some of these tips so that they can also remain calm and be prepared and not panic.
Be safe. Hey, before you shut that down, let's do a little special. Get the phone out. We're going to call Mama Mona. Come on, man. Let's do it. This is only for the true people who are going to follow this to the
Now
very
I
end.
really have to turn my phone
I love
on.
Mama Mona. So we've actually talked about doing this before.
We did. We're gonna
I want to get a Mama Mona moment little jingle.
Listen,
And when we call Mama, we're going to hit that Mama Mona jingle, and we're going to give her a call.
all right. See, I
wanna
wasn't
talk to her
prepared.
because-
I was.
and I just want to find out what she's doing to prepare
Okay.
for the coronavirus.
All right.
This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome.
Well, she's something else. So.
Oh my gosh, I
I'm gonna
love
get her
Mama
in.
Mona.
You're going to have to hold the phone up to the mic.
I am okay.
Yeah, you can just hold it up to your
I'll do that.
or put it on speaker.
Yeah. After Apple decides to let it turn on, it just takes a moment.
There it is.
There it is. Hello.
All right, here we go. Mama Mona.
Apple. You are so funny. Let me
All right,
see
we're going to
what
work
she's
on
up
that. So Justin's going to work on the jingle. Or I can get on Fiverr.
We'll figure it out.
to. You're hilarious. I love it.
Actually, is there another head? Take that headset and put the mic by it.
Hey, Mama. We're sitting up here doing our podcast, and
Hey, Mama Mona.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good. Y'all don't want to put me up in there now. I'm scared as hell.
well,
No,
and we're actually live, so we wanted to go ahead and talk to you about being prepared. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell us what you got going on. Tell us what you're doing to get prepared, Mama.
Well, I'm getting everything. I have the toilet tissue, of course. I was one of those hoarders going to get more than, no, you don't never have enough toilet tissue. Get that. Get some paper plates, bread, get some canned beans, rice, potatoes, instant potatoes. I don't like them, but it's okay. When you're starving, you're going to get anything you can.
That's right.
Beans, what else?
Did you get the peanut butter
Oh, peanut butter.
for the protein?
Yes. I got 3 jars of peanut butter, 2 jars of jelly, saltine crackers. I don't like them, but it's okay. I have Ritz crackers. What else do I have? I have everything I used to have when I lived in the ghetto.
That's right.
I didn't buy no Popeye. No Popeyes yet. We
You
used to
didn't
get
buy
them
no Popeyes.
for $4 but all I can say is y'all ain't paying attention.
That's right.
Okay, hey, Mama, do you have an alarm system at your place?
No.
That's
I wish
one.
I had-
That's the one thing I meant to say earlier. Is a lot of people have them, they don't use them.
Yeah.
But you make sure your doors are locked. You check your doors.
Yeah, she keeps the doors locked.
Yeah, I keep my doors locked, but you know what? I don't know how many people listen to the news, but this one guy went in and robbed somebody, didn't take the TV, he took the food.
See? Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I mean, I'm laughing, y'all, because we got to find some humor in whatever we can because we got to get through this and just everybody stay safe and believe what you're hearing.
Amen. All right,
Amen.
thank you, Mama.
But follow it up. You can do some research and you got it going on.
That's right.
We're
Thanks,
going to
Mama.
make it.
Have a
We
great
gonna make
day.
Bye.
Bye bye.
That's cute.
Mama Mona.
That was awesome.
All right.
She's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
my boy.
All right. That's it.
All right.
It's a wrap.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, bye, guys.